We were $120,000 in debt when we first got married. For us, that meant over $1,000 a month going out in payments on that debt. And on a $45,000 per year income, it would have taken us between 6 and 7 years, maybe even longer than that, to pay everything off. Instead, it took us 3. Here's what we did. To effectively tackle paying everything off faster, we needed to either find or create a side hustle that would be 3 things.
1, inexpensive to start. 2, high paying. And 3, something flexible to where we could control the hours that we wanted to work. Needless to say, we did a lot of research online into side hustles. Anything from dropshipping, online surveys, extreme couponing, focus groups, you name it, we've looked into it.
But our search quickly became frustrating because a lot of the times what we'd run into were either phishing schemes, people just trying to sell us a course or 2, or legitimate opportunities that for us just weren't worth exactly what they were paying. So a little underwhelmed at what we were finding, we eventually tried some side hustle ideas of our own, and this is ultimately where we found the most success. Our ideas weren't anything fancy though. They weren't anything like stock market arbitrage or chocolate consulting. They were just ordinary things that we could start slow with, gradually build, and then also paid well. Every one of these ideas we're putting forth in this video, we have tried and have found to be profitable for us and have made us some money. 2 of these things have made us a lot of money. Also, each of these side hustles can be started for under $100, have aspects of themselves that are kind of online oriented or online based, or can be 100% done online. So the first side hustle idea we're gonna be talking about in this video is teaching your skills to somebody else. And for me in our lives, what this looked like is tutoring. Now this doesn't have to be just in the field of academics. It could be many things. It could be teaching music lessons, teaching people how to paint or weld, or swim lessons, or business consulting, things like that. The point is, you're teaching other people your skills, you're sharing your knowledge, you're teaching them how to do what you already know to do with the skills that you have. And a lot of you guys have actually asked me about this because this was kind of the business I was starting up when Brit and I first got married. And if you've watched our Debt-Free Scream, this is what I was talking about when we were talking to Dave Ramsey. When I mentioned academic coaching, this is what I meant. This is also something you can start for very, very little money. I mean, the cost of pencil, paper, a notebook, and a calculator if you need one, if you're helping other people within mathematics or things like that. So well under $100. I mean, just maybe $10 to $20 if you're not talking about getting a calculator. But here's my story getting into the tutoring business. When I was in college, I was working a job that I didn't like much at all. And it got to the point where I was just kind of in a bad mood every day. And that came across to my family and Brittany while we were dating. I just needed to find something else. And so my mother introduced me over the phone to one of her friends who was in education. She kind of operated a small family-owned tutoring business. She was also a teacher. Didn't meet her in person, just spoke over the phone. And I was like, yeah, I'm really good with math and science. I'm studying this in college. Do you guys need any extra help? And she was like, yeah, you're hired. And I was like, oh, great. I didn't even have to send my resume or anything. With that company, how it was structured is they would find me work, and then I was pretty much in charge of everything else. Scheduling, my pay rates and everything like that. I think they started me with a rate of $30 an hour. I think I got 70% of that and they got 30. So it was kind of like a split. Started out with one client. I think I had one client for about a month, and then they recommended me to somebody else. And then that person recommended me to somebody else, and just slowly grew over time. And I think after 6 months or a year or so with working with them, I had a decent amount of clients and had successfully raised my rate to maybe $40 an hour. And again, I wasn't getting all of that. I was getting most of it though. After a while, this company I was with kind of shifted the directions they were going in, and they were no longer doing one-on-one tutoring. They were doing more group tutoring and contracting with local schools and things like that. What I did is I kind of continued what I was doing, except I created my own business, academic coaching business, and continued the one-on-one tutoring, kept all my clients, and continued getting more and more through word of mouth advertising. I think I advertised my services in a couple of small places nearby. I'm not sure if I got any results from that because the vast majority of the people I met with were just from word of mouth advertising. Maybe a year or 2 after I started the business on my own, I had raised my rates to about $60 an hour, and they are currently now $65 an hour. So I forgot to mention that somewhere closer to the beginning of all this, I was able to quit my other job and pursue this a lot more because it very quickly started earning me more money than my other job was. I think my other job I was getting paid like $10 or $12 an hour. Now being paid $60 or $65 an hour more recently, like you can see, you don't need many clients a day to meet with for that to add up to a substantial amount. My highest paying day for tutoring was about $500. And this was during the middle of final season. How I structured my rates is, it's like we'll just say $60 as an example. $60 for a one-on-one session, $45 if it's going to be 2 people meeting with me, and then $30 per person if it's going to be 3. And I limit it to 3 because I feel like the quality of my instructions just kind of declines rapidly after I meet with 3 people at a time. So I had like 1 or 2 of those group meetings, a few one-on-ones, and I had a job with a local school as well. Not every day was like that, obviously, but there were many days where I was earning several $100s, $200, $300, something like that. Many days where I only had like 1 or 2 clients, and I was only earning $60 or $120. So if you're looking to get into tutoring as a side hustle, and maybe not do it full time, what I would recommend, if you don't want to start working for somebody else, is looking within your family, your circle of friends, your acquaintances, seeing if you have anybody with connections to a school. More than likely, that's going to be the case. One of your family members is either working in the education system, or one of your friends is doing that, or they know somebody who's doing that. Get in touch with them, maybe over the phone, through email or something like that, and just say you're interested in helping the next generation out with their academics, preparing them for college, things like that. Describe your skills. These are maybe the courses you took in college or the grades you have, or if you're in college right now, like this is your, whatever your passion is. For me, it was math and science. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier, but I worked with math, science, SAT prep, and ACT prep. And just start reaching out to these people, and eventually, I'm sure you will find somebody who knows somebody else who could use some tutoring in a subject or 2. What you could also do is just maybe make an informational flyer and stick it on those boards at Starbucks or wherever as soon as Starbucks opens back up for dine-in. Regarding SAT and ACT prep, this side of academics and college preparation is more lucrative than just typical like math, science, English, history tutoring, because a lot of colleges will offer scholarships for a certain score on the ACT or SAT. So what you're actually doing in preparing kids for these tests, or at least for me, I was trying to help them get scholarships, which in turn saves their parents money or themselves money. And so what I found is you can charge a little bit more for SAT and ACT prep. And I've even had an acquaintance that I met through tutoring who did just SAT and ACT prep, and that was it. That was his full-time business. He charged $180 an hour. He was pretty busy, and he was very good at what he did. Keep that in mind. I don't think tutoring and college prep is an area that many people think of as being so lucrative when it comes to either full-time professions or side hustles.
So our next side hustle topic is 180 degrees in the opposite direction, the one you're currently watching, and that is YouTube. And you can literally start this for free. You can film on your phone, you can edit on your phone, you can upload videos from your phone, and even keep track of comments and everything else all on your phone, which is really nice. I'm sure many of you are familiar with Graham Stephan. This is actually how he started. He just started uploading with his phone and went from there.
And now he's earning like $200,000 a month. What I've noticed, at least in my own life, is that I really only watch YouTube for 2 things, either entertainment or education. Brit and I have started this channel as kind of like a financial education channel, and also to help give encouragement to other people who were maybe in our situation that we were in 8 years ago, being strapped with debt and just kind of being overwhelmed with our financial situation. Our income on YouTube so far has been very all over the place. Our highest earning day has been about $120. Our lowest earning day has been, well, 0 before we got monetized.
Yeah.
But after we got monetized, our lowest earning day has been, I think, around $20. So as you can see, it's really all over the place. One of the huge benefits of YouTube as a side hustle or even a main profession in our minds is that it allows you to travel and live wherever you want. You can literally bring YouTube with you wherever you are. And it has 0 to do with where you live, at least if you're living in the US. So how do you start YouTube as a side hustle? Probably many of you are wondering who aren't familiar with the YouTube Partner Program. Well, basically you just find a niche, something that you're particularly interested in would help, and start posting videos about it. You need 1,000 subs, 1,000 people who are subscribed to your channel who are watching, and 4,000 hours of watch time within a year. You have to have both of those things for your channel to be reviewed for the YouTube Partnership Program. Once it's reviewed and approved, your channel can start earning money. The way YouTube channels earn money through YouTube is based on ads. So if you've ever played a video and you see an ad at the beginning before the video plays, that's one way the creator of that video helps to continue making videos. If you saw an ad before this video, that's one of the ways that Brit and I are turning this into a side hustle, which helps us financially be able to do this more. So regarding education or entertainment, what we would recommend doing is pursuing a YouTube channel that is one of those, provides quality education or quality entertainment. Trending topics do well. It's going to be best if it's something that you're interested in, something that you're passionate about, and that way you can make videos and you won't get tired of making videos. You could actually start earning money before you become monetized on YouTube. And this is exactly what we did. We started earning money way before we became monetized, became accepted to the partner program. And that is by doing affiliate marketing. The affiliate marketing we do is through Amazon Associates. Basically what it is you sign up for the program.
They basically review your YouTube channel, and if it meets their requirements, you become affiliated.
Or Instagram, if you have a certain number of followers on Instagram or whatever.
That's true.
You have to have a certain following on social media to be accepted. Basically what you do is you just apply. If they accept you, then you get your own like specific links to any product on Amazon. What Brittany and I have done is we've linked all of our equipment, all of our gear that we use in the description as Amazon affiliate links. So if somebody buys one of our things that we link, we get a small commission. It doesn't cost them anything else anymore.
Right. There's no extra cost or fee.
We get anywhere between like 1% and 5% on that purchase. And again, that's something else that helps Brittany and I financially to keep going and making content.
Basically, it gives us the opportunity to hopefully grow this into something we can do full time.
But yeah, I mean, that's a way you can start earning money from your videos before even becoming partnered on YouTube if you want to. Which brings us to the third side hustle that we're going to be talking about in this video, which is another 180 degrees away from the first two that we talked about, and that is photography. And I apologize about the lighting in the back, guys. The clouds are going over the sun, it's getting darker and lighter. We unfortunately can't do anything about that. You may be asking yourselves about photography, like, you know, thinking about camera, tripod, lenses, aren't these things all kind of expenses? Yes, they are. And photography can be a very expensive hobby or side hustle if you really want to get into it. However, it's a very inexpensive one to start because I'm sure everyone watching has one of these, a cell phone with a camera on it. That's how I got started. I bought maybe $10 worth of photography apps on my cell phone and learned photography on my cell phone from YouTube videos.
Which were all completely free.
Yeah. There are also many different areas within photography that you kind of go with this side hustle. I mean, there's wedding photography, there's landscape photography, there's automotive photography, there are portraits.
There's also composite photography, fine art photography. There's lots of areas.
Yeah, lots of different branches. A friend of mine, who is also a photographer, used to do wedding photography. And it was not uncommon for her to be booked up every single weekend of the month. And she charged $2,000 per wedding. So that's $8,000 a month. And this is on top of her regular job. Just with that alone, you can see how lucrative this could be. I've never done wedding photography, but I will say with photography, the highest earning day that I've had, I earned $1,600. And that was getting a series of shots for a client and editing them and getting them back to the client. It is very lucrative if you know where to go and how to go about it. When we lived in Hawaii, I learned photography on my phone and started researching like money that can be made with it, things that I could do to help supplement the tutoring income, and quickly learned that there were a few areas that earned a lot of money. But what happened was, Brittany and I got back from Hawaii and went to like this hotel resort that was around our area. I took a few photos of the grounds there and put them up on Instagram, tagged them in that post, and they reached out to me saying like, hey, could we use these photos for our website? We scheduled a meeting and I was like, you know, I'm kind of falling in love with photography. I don't have a professional camera or anything. You know, is there some kind of a deal we could maybe work out? Trade something for these photos or like do another job or whatever. There was. They hired me for another job and then another. Very quickly, I earned enough money to basically pay for a camera, 2 lenses, and a tripod, and professional editing software. Everything I needed was paid for basically within a few jobs. What I found that pays a lot of money is interior design, golf courses, and architecture. I've done all 3 of those areas and they all pay very well because people are spending millions upon millions of dollars to design their spaces and design their architecture and make pretty golf courses that golfers like playing on. And so there's a lot of extra money floating around. So if you're looking to get into photography or something like this, I would encourage you to learn everything you can on your cell phone. Go to higher end places where you think there would be some extra cash flowing around, and just, you know, maybe have dinner there or stay a night in a hotel or something like that, go play around a golf. And while you're there, just kind of implement what you're learning online, post it on social media, tag them, or reach out to one of their social media managers saying, hey, like, while I was at your space, I took these photos. Do you want them? You may have to give some away for free at first. That's almost what I did.
But you're building a relationship with them, which is key.
And then they can have connections, and that could lead you to jobs elsewhere. And it can just kind of go from there, and eventually you could be earning $1,600 a day. I want to stress again, that was my highest earning day with photography. Not every day is like that. There were many days I didn't earn a penny. It's just the nature of being kind of self-employed and doing your own thing. Some days you're going to have work, other days you're not.
So another side note is, if you do really enjoy photography and love it, Instagram is where you need to be. A lot of your contacts and jobs will come through Instagram. They'll usually direct message you. And I've actually had one who wanted to put some of my work into a gallery. And I do more composite images. We'll put one on the screen. And unfortunately, with what's been going on, that never worked out. But that interaction and relationship was built through Instagram. So we highly recommend that.
That's an important point. Now that I think about it, everyone who reached out to me, who contacted me to do work for them, contacted me first on Instagram. So if you don't want to go into like landscape or architecture or interior design or anything like that, if you want to focus on people, you'll probably have an easier time getting work if you're doing portraits or weddings or things like that. Maybe practice on your family members, friends, reach out on Facebook or whatever, and be like, hey, I'm learning photography, I'm learning portrait or wedding photography. Do any of you need headshots for anything? And maybe do a job or two for free and learn as you're going. Doing things for free, I will say, is kind of like a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
You don't want to undervalue your work, but at the same time, it's one of the easiest ways to get work initially when you're first starting out. It's just doing things for free. But you don't want to stay there. So regarding working with either high-end clients like hotels or golf courses, or working with people, if you don't want to do any of that, what you can do instead is just go out and take photos and make a website, put them on your website, and sell those photos on your website. I've sold many prints before, and I've also licensed photos to the state of Georgia of just places around the state. You could also do things like that. So I mean, like I said at the beginning, there are so many different ways you could earn money as doing photography as a side hustle.
Along those lines, stock photography is a great way to make some money, especially like Mike was saying, when you put it on a website. He did put some on Etsy, and he was getting $5 here and there, kind of passively, just where people would do a digital download or something like that.
If you do something like that, you really want to keep track of who's buying your stuff and really get your licensing structure in control. You want to really pay attention to that stuff, because the last thing you want is to sell a photo to somebody and then that somebody kind of like gives it to a friend, and then that friend passes it around to other people, and eventually like 1,000 people have your photo on their website when only one person purchased a license for it.
And the last side hustle we have, just as a bonus, is flipping. So for me, I would go to gently used clothing stores, look for name brand items, and then what it first started out was just to buy at a cheap price, be able to wear, and then sell back to get another outfit for free. But then quickly learned that you could technically, if you wanted to, go to these places, even thrift stores or gently used clothing stores, and actually upsell them onto places like Poshmark or eBay. I haven't done that, but I've seen people do that. Another friend of mine has done this with furniture. So she would go to thrift stores and buy very nice pieces. Just basically the bones of the furniture would be really nice. She would sand them down, paint them, put a lot of work into them, but then sell them for a couple $100. And she only spent like maybe $20, $30, $40 on the furniture item. She also would go around to garage sales and do the same thing. But she was making an extra $500 to $1,000 every month just from doing that. So something else to keep in mind.
So those are our 4 side hustles that Brittany and I have personally tried that have worked for us, 2 of which have been very, very lucrative financially. Guys, we hope this video was helpful. We wanted to try and give you guys quality information and like kind of give you guys like a miniature guide on how to start any one of these if you want to. So we hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a huge thumbs up. It helps out the YouTube algorithm tremendously.
Subscribe for more, and don't forget to follow us on Instagram at It's Mike and Brit.
Yep, follow us there. We post every now and then. If you're interested in budgeting, personal finance, our budget template is in the description. That's basically the outline of how Brittany and I budget every month. It's totally free, no email address required. Also, our Robinhood link is in the description. That's the platform that Brittany and I are investing our money through right now. It's free. If you sign up using that link, you get a free stock and we get a free stock. It helps out everybody. And with that being said, thanks again for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Clouds going over the sun, and it's making the background darker and lighter.
It got really close to my face.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, shit.
All right, I'll start over.
Okay.